chose teaching as it's kind of a fallback profession. I had a history teacher when I went to school here that told us a story my freshman year about how he became a teacher. That always just clicked with me because I always liked history class. And it was like, okay, that's something that'll always be there. I wanted a job that I knew the hours.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to look at the clock because I did jobs in call centers and retail where you're looking at the clock all the time and it was awful. And I wanted predictability in my schedule. And teaching kind of provides all that, and then it's the added benefit of, you get to talk about what my interests are, and then I get to help kids that are in the same city that I grew up in, give back a little bit. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's something that if you were to ask me, like, first of all, if you were to ask my 18-year-old self, do you think you'd be a teacher, I would have said no, and probably 95% of the people that you talk to would have said no. My temper was not the temperament of a teacher. I had a short fuse. I was not the coolest of heads when it came to confrontation and things like that, which is something you really do need. But it's also something that I found, it can be taught, like the skills to be a teacher, but there are some things that are inherently, like, you can't teach it. And some of I'm sure you've seen it with some of your teachers, like, they're just comfortable. And this was just a job for me. Because of the coaching background, when I stepped into a classroom, it was something I felt comfortable kind of trying to help while still being that authoritative figure in kids' lives that, like, sometimes they need it. Some days it definitely feels like, I don't know what's going on here, but as long as it can be portrayed that, like, it's a welcoming environment. Well, if you want teenage Mr. Linnehan's response, that would be a professional soccer player, professional baseball player, sports broadcaster. In that order. I played both sports in college, but knew that was not a path that was going to work itself out for me. I did want to continue in the media arts field, but in the meantime, I was picking up jobs here and there. So interests change in life, and I ended up doing this. But, like, if I could have stayed in the media arts field, something with film, TV, I'd love to be a writer for TV. That'd be cool. But just never happened. Someday maybe I'll write something.
Never too late for anything.
This is my 10th year teaching. The biggest lesson that's off the top of my head that would be patience. Number one is patience. I had to learn it on the fly. At John F. Kennedy, I was their 4th teacher by the time Thanksgiving rolled around. So they had gotten accustomed to new teacher. Let's see how quickly we can get this person out of here. And like I said as well, I knew myself, my personality going into this profession, the biggest thing I was going to need to work on was patience. And I think that's the thing that pays off the most. Being patient with the people that are in front of you at your job, especially this job, is most important because you don't know what's going on a daily basis with everybody that's in front of you. So not jumping to a conclusion, not overreacting right away. And I'm not saying I'm a perfect person at that. It's happened. But being able to take a step back, realize that this is a teenage kid, you have no idea what they just came from, what they're going to, and trying to see if you can figure out what's causing the issue is probably the biggest thing I've learned. Yeah, definitely. Day one at John F. Kennedy Middle School, they did their best. I was standing outside my homeroom, and this is, day one is, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Like, I had been a tutor before, I'd been a coach before, I had never run my own classroom, and their classes were 90 minutes long. For an 11-year-old kid, that is an eternity. Plus, their goal was to see how quickly they could get me fired. The first kid who came up to talk to me said, "Who are you? Cool. We'll see you later." And I said, "Oh yeah, I'll see you later." And I said, No, like, you won't be here by the end of the week.
Oh.
it was a long, long day. Like that first day was probably the only day that I've looked at myself and said, like, should I be doing this? My mother was in education, so I called her after school that day and kind of just went through the day with her. Biggest thing is just being there every day, regardless of if they're learning every day, if you're there every day. Consistency, it'll break them down. And it really did work. Like 2-3 months in, hadn't missed a day, continued to let them know I'd be there. I mean, it sounds like a long time, but it broke them down. We finally were able to kind of see, your game's not going to work. I'm here for the long haul. Like, let's try and get some stuff done. Don't take this the wrong way when you guys leave. And I don't mean that like, oh, thank God they're gone. But that means that we've done all we can. Watching you guys go down the aisle at graduation, hanging out on the steps, asking for pictures with your parents or your guardians or whoever's there, your aunts, your uncles, your grandma, your grandpa, whoever's there to help celebrate. Like this, it is a really big accomplishment, like 12 years of school. You know, you get your diploma and now you're one of us now. Like you're part of the society that we've been hopefully preparing you for. That really is the best part. Yeah, we won't be able to see you anymore. Hopefully you guys come back and visit, but that's not really why we do this. We do this so that like you leave here and you're ready to be a part of the society that is outside these four walls, outside the city of Springfield. Ideally, I'd love to do this job until the day I retire. I know that I could do this job until the day I retired. I'd like to say ideally, I'd love to do this for my whole career. I'd love to stay at Central for my whole career. I graduated from high school here. It'd be wonderful to, you know, do my entire career here, help give back to the community that made me who I am, but I want to be here forever.
That's cool.
If not history, phys ed, no doubt about it. I was just an athlete my whole life. The exam for phys ed, you might not believe it, is like one of the harder exams because they also have to be health teachers. So that was the big hurdle for me was I don't know if I'll be able to pass that exam. I was not a huge science guy. Health class and science class, not the best for me. Why history? It's the best story that's ever been told. That's how I look at it. No matter where you are in the world, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, it's not a story of your story, my story, their story. We're all human beings. We're all from here. So it's the story of who we are. Now, I know that's like a big, big, huge concept, but that's why you cut it up into little chapters. That's why you have different types of history class. That's why you have all these history electives. So you can kind of learn about all the little pieces that have made us to who we are right now. So, incoming freshmen to Central or transfers into Central. First things first, join as many clubs as you can. Don't just come here and go to school from first period to last period. Get into as many clubs as you can. If you play as many sports as you want or you can. If you're not an athlete, get into something that's involved with the school. Because if you're not doing something outside of the classroom that makes you be here, then all school is school. And I remember being a teenager, that's not something that we don't want to just be here for just school. Make it something where you're here for school, but there's other reasons you're here. Your friends, the things you do after school with them, the clubs you're part of, the teams you're part of. It will make your time a lot more enjoyable, for sure.